All right, welcome everybody to the Team Reactive question and answer session. My name is Paul Tyra, and I'll be your host here to answer some questions that we received tonight. Also, afterwards, I'm going to give you a little history, a little tour of my background. Someone was asking me about that the other day. Some of the businesses I was involved with prior to, a little history on how I ended up here at ASEA. Now, there is a comments thread below the screen here. So if you want to type in a question live, it takes a little bit, every few seconds my screen will refresh and I'll be able to see your question here. But I encourage you to do so, or type in and say hi. If you're not hearing me properly or whatnot, the voice or something's going on as well, go ahead and chime in. We want to keep this kind of interactive and welcome all of your comments and questions that come in around. Okay, first question, let me scroll down here. Came in from Brent Brooks. He's asking, and actually, I've got to actually, bear with me for 1 second here. Apologize, bear with me for 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Had an extra window open and as I was configuring everything here tonight, apologize. Okay, let me go back here to Brent's question. So you don't have to be smart to be successful in this business. Okay, Brent's question here is the ABC platform verified to be functioning on smartphones and tablets? Yes, it is. However, smartphones and tablets that do have web browser support, there's no app like you install yet, like a standalone app. So you do have to make sure that your web browser is compliant with regular web technologies. Okay, so based on that, it should be okay. It's kind of tough though, honestly, on a smartphone to be navigating the screens and you got Genie popping up and everything. Some phones may not have the coding required to execute some of these things. So for right now, maybe a tablet be bigger, iPad, or a full-blown desktop or laptop. Now, that being said, if there are any bugs or if you're noticing anything that's not working properly, please submit those into the ABC platform, folks, where it says submit feedback. They're working hard to give a 24-hour turnaround time to let you know where they're at with that. And usually within a matter of days, if there is a bug fix required, they do revisions, every few days in this early development stage. Okay, that's one. Next, is ABC available to new distributors for a trial month at no cost? Well, through the month of May is free. And what was currently agreed upon is from that point forward to being able to have at least 2 weeks free. Now, we're really pushing hard to get a whole month, first month free, like we did with 3-Minute Peak. So yes, we are pushing for a whole trial month, but stay tuned. Right now, I believe what's currently been agreed upon is the first 2 weeks. And the other night, or was it, what today is today? It's Thursday. So yesterday night we had Madeline Lewis on the Connection Hangout, and she talked about how you would go about putting a prospect into the ABC platform that you met in person. So you may run into someone at a supermarket or something like that. So how do you engage them or get them into the system? You're not going to go obviously through the whole scripting process. You've already had the conversation. You just want to get them some information. So the way you do that is you put their information in, classify, categorize as you normally would. However, when you initiate that first contact, you're just going to click on start call and then hang up right away. Okay, that'll get the whole process started. You'll see it pop up and you'll be able to send them the opportunity video, etc., whatever they're interested in, that you classified them as. So just click on a start call and hang up, and then that'll get them in that process. Once again, that'll flag Genie as well to remind you when to follow up with that person. Okay, so and then if you want, you can go in the library, send them any specific information that you'd like to as well. Okay, those are the few questions that we've had coming in. Again, if you have not tuned in to our Connection Hangout on Wednesdays, you can always go to connectiononair.com. Once again, connectiononair.com, and you can watch last night's rebroadcast of that if you'd like more specifics on anything regarding ABC, as was shared with us by Nadlin Lewis. It was a fantastic hangout, and I encourage you to watch that. She's very educational. All right, what I'll do now then is I'm just going to do a little quick tour, like I mentioned at the beginning. If we don't have any questions, I'm going to refresh one more time here, just to make sure that we didn't have any questions that just came in. Oh, we did. Very good. All right, Laura. I have an associate that is not currently active due to financial struggles. He is really wanting to start over in his ASEA business and sign up associates. Am I correct in telling him that he will not receive any part of the fast start bonus? Well, first of all, let me clarify a couple of terminologies here. Now, our fast start bonus, it generally reflects on when you sign someone up and they enroll with, they invest their $40 to become an associate, and they enroll with 1 case, 2 case, 4 cases, or 8 cases. You get an immediate fast start bonus of $20 per enrollment case. Okay, that's what we typically refer to as fast start bonus. What I believe you may be referring to is the fast track program, where you're getting the 1.5x bonus a period of time. So yes, to answer your question is if he's been an associate in the system for a couple of years or 3 years or whatever, he's outside of that. Now, let's say someone enrolled just a month or 2 ago. They're still in that fast track eligibility window. Okay, so if you go to the document, you'll see that they can still get the 1.5x bonus if they're hitting the ranks in the time window, okay, that they are. Okay, so if they missed the bronze, it's okay. They can still maybe have some fast track time left on the silver path and the gold, platinum, etc. All right. So again, but if someone is if they've been around for a few years, no, they're going to be completely outside of the fast start eligibility window. So hopefully that answers your question. To clarify that, yes, it was not grandfathered in, or the company did not let people do the fast track thing, because it would have diluted the shares too much if we had, people from 3 or 4 years ago being able to participate, because that's not the design of the bonus. Okay, great. Thanks so much. Glad I caught that one here at the last minute. Let me refresh here just to make sure we didn't get another one. Okay, super. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take you on a little tour of my journey in network marketing since 2001. I'm going to need to share my screen here, so bear with me for just 1 second. Share my desktop. And let me start screen share. And let me go down here to PowerPoint. Oh, I think, let me make sure I'm presenting to everyone. Okay, go down here to PowerPoint. And I need to make sure I'm on the right slide. Get it all the way up here. I'll get up all the way up here. Okay, and I'm going to kind of verify here that the slide is showing. So while I'm doing that, we have a little bit of a delay. So while I'm doing that, let me sort of tee this up. First off, good. It looks like we're getting a screen share. Okay. First off, here's a little bit of background about myself. Some of you have seen the slide. You'll see there's been a couple of additions to it, but I didn't start here. Like a lot of us say, it took us maybe 10 or 15 years to become an overnight success in the industry, and so I'm going to give you my little journey here. Okay, and by the way, if for those of you who are staying around to hear this, if you do have questions, well, this is going to take maybe about 10 minutes, I'm going to guess. Afterwards, I will go ahead and answer questions as well. Okay, so and if not, I'll go ahead and wrap it up. But basically, let me take you back here on my business journey here in network marketing. This quote was shared with me many, many years ago, even before getting involved in network marketing. It's a Romanian proverb, and it says that only the foolish learn from experience, the wise learn from the experience of others. So I've kind of made it a point, no matter where I go, no matter what I do, to look for the most talented, successful people in a particular field, and to try to absorb and soak in as much information as possible from them, so I can shortcut my success track. And hopefully that's what I'm going to do with you here. Now, I took I took a lot of arrows, and it seems like I was very foolish from having to learn from experience, because I didn't know anyone in this industry, and most of us don't when you first get in this industry. I was introduced to network marketing by a friend of mine who was an attorney, and he was my entertainment attorney. He did contracts for me for some of the artists that I managed at the time. I was in my low 20s there, and I had a couple of music groups I managed. And so he asked me to come down. He said he had a friend who was doing well in this company, and which I'm going to share with you in a minute. But he really was kind of clueless, and and even the guy that was getting some success really didn't understand, I think, how he was creating success. He was just putting a lot of bodies in a room. So let me share with you. This is about in 1995, and I was still working in corporate America at the time in information technology. But I took my invitation from my friend, and this was my first experience. This company was a long-distance telecommunication company. Okay, basically the offer of the product was to have someone fill out a piece of paper and switch over their long-distance service to another company, to our company, and you'd save about 50% off. Those of you old enough to remember, AT&T at one time used to be the only long-distance service company provider out there in the country. It was a monopoly, and then they deregulated the industry, and all these other players like Sprint, MCI, remember those commercials with seeing the pin drop, all those things. And so our company did a cut a deal, and instead of paying 33 cents a minute, we were able to offer people 15 cents a minute. Now, what happened was the rates kept dropping. For those of you who may remember, it went from 15 cents to 12 cents a minute, and it went to 10 cents a minute, and it went to 5 cents a minute. And then it even ended up being a flat rate type of product, if you remember that, where you could spend $20 or $30, which I think around most of us do now a month, and you can call anywhere you want, whether across the street or across the country, and it was all the same. So it really became tough to make money on the service of the product. And that fundamentally, guys, when you're looking at network marketing businesses, is the first key thing you should be looking at, is how much are you actually earning or overriding commissions on based on usage of your product or service. So if someone had a $100 phone bill, for example, okay, you're lucky if they put $15 into the commission plan out of that. And so how do you pay if now the phone bills are only $20 or $30 for unlimited usage? I mean, they're literally putting pennies in to the plan, and how do you pay commissions on that? I mean, you'd have to have millions of customers to make, thousands of dollars a month, and it would just, it just becomes a crazy effort. So as we know, this whole model pretty much went away. Excel Telecommunications was another example. They were probably the biggest in our space. And the only one that kind of survived was a company called ACN. They're around today. They kind of added some other services, but they did it more because of their culture. Okay, kind of like how Amway, and why Amway is still around. All right. So then I went from there, from that company. That company, by the way, got to over $100 million a year in annual sales. And I went to a startup company. Now, and I did that because I thought, wow, if I'm one of the first, I can have, maybe be able to have everybody, underneath me. And that's a very, it makes sense, right? But as you learn and stuff, there's something called stability and longevity that comes into play later. So it's really not a requirement, okay? But here's the problem with that first startup experience. They were undercapitalized. They didn't have enough capital to get the business off the ground, and they basically went after too many Me Too products or services, like satellite television service, travel. You see these out there, a lot. And again, I'm bringing this up to you guys because you're going to run into people who are going to try to pitch you on things like this, travel opportunities, or selling. At the time we had antioxidants, maybe I think it might have been grape seed extract, or or one of those super juices. Okay, that again, there's a plethora of them. Some of them have different flavors and come from different fruits, but basically the fundamental way they work is the same. So all these things, and now all of a sudden everyone had to be an expert, had to be a satellite dish TV network expert, as well as be able to ram super juice down someone's throat. And again, they found their credibility was at risk, and that ultimately went away. And on top of everything, poor business management. They mismanaged the business, whether it was on the customer service end, the fulfillment end, all that stuff. So that ended up going away. So then I said I went to the other extreme, and I was enticed by a company that was already a multi-billion-dollar company, and they were launching a new division that was based on technology, utility, or bundled billing. Okay, and this to me was exciting because I was a technology guy, and internet was just getting into the masses. If you remember dial-up technologies, when we used to have to connect to the internet by dialing through a phone modem. Okay, so this is before DSL and cable modems and all that. So they're looking to bring that long distance wireless services and your utilities that were being deregulated all under one billing umbrella. I'm like, this is a great concept. If you switch a lot of services over to one company, then chances are that customer's not going to go anywhere, and you'll save them even more money. Made sense to me. But however, like the telecom company I was with when I first started out, technology in the internet space was also moved way too fast. And contracts weren't being able to be upheld because they would sign a contract for millions of dollars worth of time or internet access time, and then all of a sudden, the rates drop dramatically, and we couldn't compete. So people would just switch off as fast as they were switching on. Now their core products, okay, which is what got them to $1 billion, which was nutritional supplements and skincare products. That was kind of like 15 years too late. I mean, it really, the products had gotten in the mainstream, and there's a lot more, options out there. And a lot of people, most of the people had heard the name of this company. Kind of like being, saying the name Amway out there. It's not saying that anything's impossible, but it was a lot different of an experience at that point. However, I did learn about the stability of having real products. Okay, because the people that used the skincare and the nutritional supplements at this company, to this day, a lot of them still use it, and I still get a check to this day, even though it's, we're looking at now 16 years later. It was 1998 when I started, so around 2000 is when I exited. So yes, about 16 years later. And all of the revenue was from the people who said, look, I'll take those vitamins, I'll use that hand lotion. Okay, it showed me that the stability was in real products, and because there was also enough of a margin to be able to create a substantial amount of residual income. Now at that point, I figured I was getting a little bit disillusioned, and I just decided, look, let me just start my own business. So I started an IT consulting business, and of course there were a lot of stress, a lot of business management skill sets that were required to do that I just didn't have. I had the technology knowledge, but not how to run a business. And I realized that until I was engaged in my next client or sale, I was unemployed. And this was kind of too around when the .com industry bubble was bursting. And so there were clients that, even though they wanted to pay me, they ran out of funding or didn't get their funding. So that was pretty stressful in and of itself. And there was significant overhead, especially a lot of, computers and routers and things of that nature aren't cheap. So I learned a lesson there. Okay. Also, minimal residual income. I mean, yeah, I could get some web hosting residuals and stuff, but then even that was all coming down, and people were switching. And so again, it was the technology space just moves so fast. It's a tough space when you're doing one-on-one type of things, especially during that time. So I was consulting for a startup network marketing company that was a health technology-based company, and I became fascinated with their product because of the great results that my own mother had received. I was one of the first 3 distributors because, again, I was consulting very early on for that company. And I knew some of these other folks from way back in that other telecom company years before. That's how they connected with me. And I ended up being the top income earner at that company and built an organization of about 15,000 distributors and just fell in love with the business model and the lifestyle. Okay. However, that company with its product line did not have defensible science, did not embrace the network marketing model. I mean, they really were never excited about it. They didn't give us the tools that we needed, and yet we still were able to generate some very significant amount of success. And a key executive lacked integrity, and that ultimately ended up causing the demise of that company. Okay, I won't go into the details there, but I think a lot of you may have had that experience. And it didn't have to be, it's not specific to network marketing. That's why even in traditional business, if that last bullet point shows up at your company, good luck. All right. So what I did was back to the consulting arena, right? And immediately one of my business associates asked me to come down to Jamaica, West Indies. And it was the first time I was in Jamaica, and it was the first time that a network marketing company had tried to do network marketing of wireless phone services there. Without knowing a single Jamaican, I put about 3,500 distributors in this company within 6 months. And it was mainly because they were excited. This was a brand new thing, and they loved to talk on cell phones. And, the average Jamaican at the time was making about $500 a month in income. That's what our business, the majority of our business packages were people signing up at the $500 a month package, which included a phone and some other things, other benefits, put them in business. And so for them to spend a whole month's worth of salary shows you the power of this business model. Now, unfortunately, later down the road, I lived there for about 1.5 years. The government, politics, and banks, they started wanting to get a piece of this. It happened as we were hitting around that 3,500 distributor mark. They say, hey, how do we get this? And unfortunately, there were some unethical things going on there. You learn a lot of these things. Again, unfortunately, I had to learn through personal experience. But they ultimately ended up preventing the m-commerce solution from coming to market because they just wanted too big of a piece of that pie, and we could not, effectively pay out our distributors, run our operations, etc. Okay, so back to being a consultant. And again, now I was a consultant that had multiple successes in network marketing, and of course had a technology background. But again, here I was because I was disillusioned by lack of integrity, politics, undercapitalization, Me Too products and services, poor management. I just, could not find a company that had all the elements, and I couldn't fully engage in building a network marketing organization. So I did, as a lot of people in the industry do, they become a consultant and say, look, I'm not attached to anything. I'll tell you what you need to do, but you need to execute and find people that will go out and build your business, because I don't have the faith, And by the way, I want my money up front, okay, deposited clear to the bank account, because I've seen some people try to work that angle when you after you put in all your hard work with them. So I became a consultant until I found ASEA, and it was October of 2009 is when Michael Stern and I, as we were flying around, for the previous year, we were flying around together to different things, and we landed at ASEA, and we were like, wow, I think we found home, and because it had all the elements that we were looking for. So ASEA truly has it all: high integrity, a principle-based Fortune 500 executive management team, well-funded and debt-free within their first year, and patent-protective products that are exclusively distributed through ASEA. So it's not just that they're unique products, they're category creating, and they're protected by multiple registered patents and a duplicable business process that we have now, along with a phenomenal compensation plan that has just been enhanced with our fast track and our executive momentum pools. all of the new bonus mechanisms. ASEA truly does have it all. I'm going to repeat this quote here. Only the foolish learn from experience. The wise learn from the experience of others. What I'm going to do on Saturday is I'm going to summarize specifically after our Q&A session on Saturday. I'm going to specifically talk about how and why ASEA fits all these roles, and I will tell you it'll be the most powerful type of information for you to go out and to be prospecting the right type of prospect. And I say that because a lot of people, where they fail, where I see them fail and continue to fail, is they think we're in the sick care business. We are in the network distribution business. You will help a lot of people, don't get me wrong, and you'll get customers, and you'll have people that have their small miracles with the technology. That's great. But if you just focus on doing that and selling the product, you're not going to achieve the big results that you're looking for. You have to focus on building a distribution network, and believe me, you'll help a lot more people. You'll help thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people when you approach the business from a business perspective. Okay, so we want to make sure you're sending the right message and motivating people so they understand the power and potential of the opportunity, where we're at today, and everything that they have then they will be able to access if they decide to start an ASEA business with us. All right, let me go ahead and flip back here, back to the Hangout, back over here, stop sharing. All right, so once again, I'm going to refresh screen here, just take a look. See if we had any last questions come in. Okay, no last questions in. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in this evening. And don't forget, again, Saturday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, which is 1 o'clock p.m., we're doing another Q&A session. If something dings in your head, maybe something I mentioned tonight on this Hangout, go ahead and type in your question. Come right back here to trhangout.com. and type in your question. I want to thank everyone who submitted their questions that we covered at the beginning of this Hangout, and also make you aware that if you just wait a minute or two, come right back here, you can watch the replay of this. Like I mentioned before, if you go to connectiononair.com, you can watch the replay of last night's Connection Hangout with Madeline Lewis as well, to give you some great education on the ABC platform. But again, guys, we're really narrowing this down. We're getting things tighter and tighter, giving you the ability to use ABC to build your business, these opportunities to get all your questions answered, and we encourage you to take advantage of them and make sure you're getting the word out so people can be doing the same. Okay, one more last refresh, see if anything else, any other questions that might have popped up, and if not, we'll go ahead and sign off. So bear with me for 1 second. Okay, looks like we're all good. Again, thanks everyone for tuning in. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your evening, rest of the week, and I'll see you later. Take care, everybody. Good night.